5 headlines.
A message from Madison's police chief as heroin deaths hit an all-time high in the city.
A UW-Madison fraternity is in trouble after a video shows members throwing a large TV off a roof, nearly hitting a woman.
And it is the final straw for some restaurants as they push customers to think about their plastic consumption.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us. The latest numbers show heroin deaths are at an all-time high in the city of Madison.
Last month is projected to be the worst month ever for heroin deaths and the second worst for heroin overdoses in city history. Rose Schmidt explains what police believe is to blame and how you can help.
That's exactly right. A number of these overdoses happened inside businesses, like inside public restrooms, or people OD'd in a parking lot or in a street. Advocates say you should educate yourself, learn how to administer Narcan, and help break down the stigma involved.
Madison really is at the epidemic stage now.
With 35 known overdoses and 11 heroin deaths in June alone, Madison police officers say this is not a passing fad. It's a real problem, and it's not going away.
People from all walks of our community are becoming addicted.
Officers say the story often starts after people are prescribed painkillers for an injury.
And now their prescription runs out, they don't need it anymore, but they have an addiction. And one thing leads to another, and they're buying heroin, and they're addicted to heroin.
Officer Bernie Albright heads the Madison Addiction Recovery Initiative, or MARI program. It offers drug users with a potential charge the chance to get help instead of going to jail.
We will offer them the chance to go into treatment on the fast track.
Police refer people struggling with addiction to Connections Counseling, where they'll talk and build trust with people who are in recovery themselves, like MARI coordinator Kim Hurd. More and more often, she's seeing people who unknowingly used heroin laced with fentanyl.
They're saying to me they don't realize what happened. They don't understand why they overdosed because they had taken such a minute amount.
Fentanyl is an opioid police say is even more addictive and more deadly.
Fentanyl is cheaper, so dealers and producers will cut some of their heroin with fentanyl to make it go farther.
Advocates are encouraging drug users not to use alone and to make sure someone they're with has Narcan on hand. Since the MARI program started last year, 11 people have completed the 6-month program, something recovery managers say is very rewarding.
To be living a recovery lifestyle and to have a lot of things be restored to them, and one of that being hope and knowing that recovery is possible.
Connections Counseling says a number of people struggling with substance abuse believe their insurance won't cover treatment, but they say that's usually not the case. Give them a call and they can usually work something out to help get them treatment that they need.
Rose, thank you.
A former Wisconsin state trooper will serve 3 years in prison for possession of child pornography. Frank Richard Torres was in court today for sentencing. He served as a state trooper for more than 20 years before resigning last year after his arrest. Authorities found more than 80 digital storage devices with videos and images of children performing sex acts. Torres has admitted to downloading those files. A report out today shows a local nursing home knew a sex offender was living at the facility. In May, a 69-year-old man was arrested for sexually assaulting other residents. Keely Arthur has the details on the investigation that followed. Keely?
That's right. A state and federal investigation began into Maplewood after a man living in the home was arrested for sexually assaulting multiple female residents. In May, police arrived at Maplewood in Sauk City when a resident told staff 69-year-old Galen Malish groped her. Malish is a registered sex offender. A Department of Health Services and Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services investigation found the home to have violated 9 federal rules. It shows that staff knew Malish was on the sex offender registry and that officials at Maplewood tried to prevent an investigation into his behavior. Now, we reached out to Maplewood today. Here's what they said, quote, "We have reviewed and responded to preliminary findings and will continue to work closely with the Department of Health Services to advance our shared goal of protecting the health and well-being of our residents." And Maplewood has submitted a plan of correction to officials at CMS. CMS will now do a surprise inspection to see if the nursing home is up to federal standards.
Thank you, Keely. The Kappa Sigma fraternity at UW-Madison is suspended over a safety violation. Over the weekend, 2 Instagram videos surfaced showing fraternity members dropping a tube TV off the fraternity house roof. The TV nearly hits a woman passing below. The The suspension from the university prevents the group from holding any events. An investigation is underway, and if the fraternity is found in violation of the Student Organization Code, more sanctions are possible. The Madison Police Department has also ticketed 2 fraternity members. Local and national broadcast personality Ed Schultz is dead. He started his career in Fargo before working for MSNBC and most recently for a Russia-funded media outlet. He used his presence on The Ed Show to go against Governor Scott Walker's Act 10 initiative in 2011. He also showed support for recall efforts of Walker the following year. Schultz was 64 years old.
As we seek a break in the humidity, let's check in with meteorologist Dave Caulfield, our first alert forecast. Dave?
Eric, more comfortable air is rushing into southern Wisconsin this evening. It will be to everyone by the time we get into the next couple of hours. A live look in Madison. A few clouds out there, but also some blue sky this evening. Currently at 86, north-northwest wind at 8 miles per hour. That dew point down into the upper 60s, and that doesn't look like much, but especially spots just to the north, we are getting much more comfortable very quickly. Temperatures still in the 80s for many of us, but also a few 70s showing up. Dew points in the 60s and 70s, but notice those 50s starting to pop up closer to the Wisconsin Dells. That was not the case just about 1 hour ago, and our dew point change of about 10 to 15 degrees, even close to 20 degrees in some spots like Black River Falls. Much more comfortable air is on the way. Great news on the way as well. Heat index, it still feels about 90 degrees in Madison, and in Mineral Point feels like 94 in Janesville. But by the time we get to later tonight, helped by these northwest winds at about 8 to 15 miles per hour, feeling a lot better outside. This evening, decreasing clouds, becoming less humid. Temperatures falling through the 80s into the low 70s. We'll talk about this nice and pleasant weather, plus when that humidity tries to make a comeback in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. The weather is really having an impact on crops around the state. Ag experts say rainy weather had farmers planting later than normal, but crops have been able to bounce back because of our recent hot and humid weather. 97% of the state's soybeans have emerged according to USDA crops reports, and the 84% of the state's corn crops are now said to be in good to excellent condition.
Corn loves this weather. You and I suffer under it, but corn loves it. So the corn has just really grown like crazy in the last few weeks. If you've noticed just in the fields that you've been driving by, they're feet taller than they were a few weeks ago.
There's still a lot of time left in the growing season. It's unclear the total impact that this summer's weather will have on yields this year.
Local beekeepers and syrup producers are worried about what might happen if the FDA adds the words added sugars to their nutritional labels. The FDA is looking at including added sugars on nutrition labels here, so some say this idea is misleading. Local beekeepers say there are no added sugars in honey because honey is all natural. Many syrup producers feel the same way. Beekeepers fear the new labels will turn people away from buying their products. The FDA says it is listening to what people have to say on the issue and is working with stakeholders to devise a sensible solution. The FDA ranks Wisconsin 4th in maple syrup production and 12th in honey production. Earlier this week, Seattle became the first major city to ban plastic straws. Now other communities across the country, including Madison, are following its lead.
And some restaurants here have even stopped offering plastic straws to customers. Jamie Perez joined us now with their effort, including a business who basically has been straw-free for a year now. Jamie?
That's right. Well, straws are officially off the menu. I spoke with Vintage Brewing Company right here in Madison about how this first year of no plastic straws has been going. They say it's a small but great step in the right direction. Now, they still offer straws for customers who request them, but instead of those waxy typical plastic straws, these are 100% compostable and biodegradable. So far, they've had no customer complaints on them, and actually fewer customers even request to use straws at all.
The dollar was worth it for us to let the community know that we're just trying to do our part and litter as least as possible.
They also took things a step further by not only having straws except when requested, the same rules apply to water. They're trying to save on as much as that as possible as well. And I also spoke with the Pelletary Waste Systems here in Madison. And from an environmental standpoint, they say the fewer straws, the better. In fact, too many people think that plastic straws are recyclable, which does not do well in their facility when they're trying to separate them from the other items. They hope that other restaurants in the area will follow suit.
That makes a lot of sense. Jamie Perez in studio with us. Jamie, thank you. Thank you. There's a new eco-friendly bar in Milwaukee. The Lost Whale is in the Bayview neighborhood. Bar owners say they're all about reducing and reusing there. They only use paper or corn-based straws and recycled cups there. Some of their drinks are made with dehydrated fruit as a way to cut down on food waste. Lakefront Brewery's food cart will be on the move in the coming weeks. Lakefront got the truck around Memorial Day, but it has been stationed at the Milwaukee Brewery ever since. The Curd Wagon is about to start moving around the city, announcing its location on social media. The truck specializes in things like cheese curds and brats.
There's a new place to grab a pint and catch a movie on Madison's east side. Flick's Brew House just opened at 6 o'clock tonight over at Easttown Mall. It's a microbrewery and movie theater combined. It'll have showings of Ant-Man and the Wasp all night long. The marketing director for East and Westtown Malls says bringing things like Flicks to malls is part of a nationwide trend.
We're continuing to change for the customer. This is what the customer wants. This is what the customer is requesting. This is where people are spending their disposable income dollars now, and we're excited to be able to change along with that.
There are 6 Flicks locations around the country. This is the first location in Wisconsin, and there are other changes coming to Easttown Mall. Bath & Body Works is expanding to offer its White Barn shop, and Portillo's is going up just outside the mall. Still to come, the heat is starting to leave southern Wisconsin. Dave's got your full forecast in a few minutes.
Plus, it is a sight thousands of drivers have seen every day for years. Now, this iconic carousel is moving locations. Its future, next at 6. The medical software giant Epic Systems now owns the carousel from Madison's historic Ella's Deli. The ride has been an iconic landmark along East Washington Avenue for decades. Epic administrators are still trying to figure out exactly where the carousel will go, but they do hope to keep it accessible for visitors. They hope to have it moved to the Epic campus sometime later this month. Ella's Deli closed earlier this year when the owners retired.
Dane County Humane Society is seeing a new trend when it comes to our pets this 4th of July. Shelters across the country typically see a spike in strays around this time of year. Pets often get spooked by fireworks and run away from homes. But staff at our Humane Society says instead of pets, they're seeing a larger number of wild animals coming to their shelter.
Wild animals do get a little stressed out with all the noise and the fireworks, and that stress can sometimes cause them to maybe abandon young or get injured.
If you do find a wild animal that may be injured or ill, you can go to giveshelter.org to set up an appointment to bring them in.
Just ahead, the Red Cross putting out an all-call for blood donation.
The problems that stem from severe blood donation shortages next at 6.
We finally will get a break in the humidity starting tonight, and the nice weather will be with us this weekend, but the humidity tries to make a comeback. I'll let you know when in your First Alert forecast next.
One of
Welcome back. The Red Cross will initiate a blood emergency on Monday.
That means the more blood is being used than is being donated, which can have some consequences. When blood is at this level, sometimes doctors are forced to delay surgeries. The Red Cross is urging anyone able to donate blood.
Their grandpa and my dad received quite a few blood donations when he was in the hospital. He had leukemia. So the little thing that I can do to give back to, help say thank you to those people who donated blood for him.
Officials say they are about 15,000 donations behind.
Dave Caulfield joining us now as we look at perhaps a break from this humidity coming our way. Should be a pretty nice weekend, right?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic with much lower humidity and cooler temperatures. Combine that with plenty of sunshine, it's going to feel absolutely pretty much perfect this weekend. So here is our current weather setup. That cold front passed us a couple of hours ago, bringing with it the chances for showers and thunderstorms. We're looking at mild weather on the way, cooler temperatures, but that high pressure system closer to the Dakotas. We are taking a page out of Journey's playbook. I think they said it best. Now it comes to us and we have open arms. We are trying to hold on to that high pressure system as long as we can because it brings that comfortable air into town. And I think it will stay for the majority of this weekend. Monday, that could be a little bit of a different story, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Doppler track showing those showers and thunderstorms well south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, and that's the way it will stay into this evening. pretty quiet outside on Doppler track for southern Wisconsin. Now, temperatures are still in the mid-80s. That cold front didn't really affect our temperatures too much just yet. That starts tomorrow. 86 in Madison, still 88 in Janesville, 85 in Watertown. But dew points, this is where we're starting to notice those David Bowie-like changes. 59, that dew point in Wisconsin Dells. That is a big drop from just the last hour. At 68 in Madison, we could use a little bit lower humidity in town, and I think we'll get it very quickly. So 10 to 15 degrees less humid outside compared to this time yesterday. And I promise over the next couple of hours, that more comfortable air will get farther to the south and east. Promise is a promise, folks. Heat index, it still feels like the upper 80s and low 90s in some spots, but that will come to an end over the next few hours. So for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we are feeling fantastic outside for southern Wisconsin. However, on Monday, our temperatures go back up, our humidity goes back up, and we do start to feel like the mid to upper 90s into next week. But in downtown Madison, it's feeling all right outside. It could feel a little bit better, and it will over the next few hours. High today of 88 is about 5 degrees above normal for this time of year. Nowhere near the record, though. Tonight, becoming mostly clear, cooler, and less humid. Oh, it's so great to be able to say those words. Tomorrow, 81, mostly sunny, warm, and still less humid. And that lower humidity will stay with us over the next couple of days. Future track showing temperatures falling into the upper 50s as we start our Friday, and it is a fantastic Friday on tap. Lots of sunshine, temperatures in the low 80s for highs. I think pretty much a repeat day on the way on Saturday, maybe a little bit not cooler, warmer, just a little bit warmer as we head into Sunday. So our 8 to 14 day temperature outlook for the middle of this month does look like those above average temperatures return, but maybe less rain. We could definitely use that in some spots, but maybe some more sunny weather on the way for us in southern Wisconsin. Your 7-day forecast showing things staying in the 80s for the next couple of days, but the warmer weather does return for next week. Humidity does as well. The chances for showers and storms, folks, that starts to get back here by the time we head into next weekend.
Saladino in, Sogard out. The Brewers make some roster moves before their big series with Atlanta. The story's coming up in sports.
Hello, I'm Keely Arthur. Tonight on your News at 9, the latest on a cave rescue in Thailand, how crews are trying to figure out how to get those kids out. First on Fox at 9.
Roster moves for the Brewers. Tyler Saladino has been activated and Eric Sogard has been designated for assignment. The two teams with the most wins in the National League play at Miller Park tonight. The Atlanta Braves with 49 wins. The Brewers have 51 wins. They'll start a 4-game series in Milwaukee with first pitch at 7:10. Brewers are 16 games over 500 for the first time this season after sweeping the Minnesota Twins 3 straight. The play of the week and one of the plays of the year happened in the 9th inning yesterday when Keon Broxton stole a home run from Brian Dozier by going over the fence to make the catch. Broxton's had quite a knack for doing this sort of thing. It's the 3rd time in the last couple of years he's done that, and this one might have been the best of all of them. Now, another memorable moment yesterday was Nate Orf's home run. Orf was undrafted. He spent the last 6 years in the Brewers farm system. Yesterday, he got his first major league hit, which happened to be a home run. And after he circled the bases, his teammates Jesus Aguilar and Manny Pena picked him up, put Orf on their shoulders for a curtain call and a standing ovation from the fans at Miller Park.
I didn't even think about it. I was just pumped I got a hit. So they started picking me up, and then that's when I noticed they wanted a curtain call. And then, you know, next thing I know, I'm in front of all the fans on their shoulders. So it was awesome. It's been part of my plan to get here, and of course you're never guaranteed a day in the big leagues, you know. So to just get here and be able to enjoy it, and you know, and stay humble through it all, and just know how fortunate I am.
Did you know there's an LPGA Tour event in Wisconsin this week? The Thornberry Creek LPGA Classic is in Oneida, Wisconsin. That's just outside of Green Bay. Defending champion Catherine Kirk is the leader after tying the course record 62, 10 under par. A lot of the big names in the LPGA Tour are in that event in northeastern Wisconsin this week, the Thornberry Creek Classic. There's going to be a new women's champion in Wimbledon. Last year's winner, Garbine Muguruza, is out in the 2nd round. Muguruza, the 3rd seed at Wimbledon, loses to Alison van Uvank of Belgium in 3 sets. Only 2 of the top 8 seeds are still going in women's competition after just 4 days. Only top seed Simona Halep and 7th seed Karolina Pliskova are left of the top women's seeds at Wimbledon. It's been 2 long days without the World Cup, but it returns tomorrow at the start of the quarterfinals, 9 o'clock Central. Uruguay and France, then it's the afternoon game, Brazil and Belgium at 1. The other quarterfinals are Saturday, Sweden, England in the morning, Russia, Croatia in the afternoon, Saturday at the World Cup. The World Cup final is Sunday, July 15th in Moscow. And you probably thought you were done watching Joey Chestnut woof 74 hot dogs yesterday, but there was controversy at the hot dog eating championship. Chestnut's original count was 64, but it was discovered 2 cleared plates of hot dogs were missed, thus the extra 10 in the total. Now get this. Today, the president of Major League Eating says electronic counting technology may be added to assure that an accurate real-time count of hot dogs eaten is happening. Rich Shea, the president of MLE, that's Major League Eating, says, I doubt we can put a microchip on the tongue or in the esophagus. Perhaps some sort of monitoring with the plate weight would be more practical.
It would be like combining the 2 sports going on right now, goal line technology in your mouth.
How about 1, 2,
Yeah,
3?
you had one job. Count the hot dogs.
Right.
It can be difficult.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're probably just mesmerized by Joey Chestnut.
I would imagine.
Afraid that he's going to choke. It's nerve-wracking. Thanks for joining us tonight on News 3 at 6.
We'll see you back here at 10.